Hey folks, welcome to the Camping Post. It is that time of the year. We're a little late in getting ready to go camping for the season, but we are going to de-winterize our InTech Sol Dawn travel trailer and kind of give you a few tips as we kind of go through some of this. For a full video on how to de-winterize your InTech Sol Dawn, check out the link in this description or attached to this video. This is just going to be a high overview and maybe some extra tips for you while you're getting ready for the new camping season. Typically when I de-winterize, I'm going to fill up my freshwater tank with water, and you could potentially put a bleach solution in there if you want to sanitize your lines. But one thing I like to do is check the connections here to make sure they're tight, particularly here on the water pump, because your water pump vibrates so much. This will tend to get a little loose. So it's good to check those so that when you go out camping, you don't get surprised with a bunch of leaks. And as we're running out all of our pink antifreeze solution, you want to make sure that that runs clear. I usually run a full tank of the freshwater tank through, and maybe even a run of sanitization fluid or bleach through the lines just to clean everything out for the season. But one thing I also like to check too is look under here, make sure these fittings are tight. I also like to flip between my hot and cold water sources. Make sure that I'm running out. I'll often keep it in the middle, that it's pulling from both lines. My water heater is turned off, closed off from the system, but I want to make sure I flush out both sides of the line really well before we start our camping season. So fill up your sink, and then when you're ready, you can pull out your stopper, and then again, double check to make sure you're not getting any leaks around here with the full force of the water flowing through. Looking pretty good. I don't feel or see anything, so we are hunky-dory. Now, as you can see here in my infinite wisdom, I guess left some antifreeze fluid in there, so that's all nice and crusty now. So I'm going to try and rinse as much of that out as I can as I clean out the lines for the shower. So I sprayed out the shower lines. Now we're going to see what's coming out of the toilet. Again, you want to run all this stuff till it's clear. I think what I'm going to do too is leave a little bit of this clear water in here to see if that seal holds, because if the seal's not holding, then that means we're going to have to either recondition that rubber, which I have a solution for, or we're going to have to replace that gasket. In the InTech Sol Dawn, you really only have about 1 gallon of antifreeze in your lines. So it's a good opportunity to sanitize your water lines, which you can do. There are some fresheners out there that you can use, or you can use a bleach solution. So you really only need to flush out 1 gallon of antifreeze in the line, so you can use that extra water to flush your system and also freshen and sanitize the lines. This is also a good time to inspect your pump to see if there's any leaks coming from around that while you're running the water. Just double check, feel around on all your pipes and see if you feel anything that's wet, because you'd want to address that before you get out and field camping. Now there's one thing I can't stress enough, is that when you are winterizing and de-winterizing your camper and you have outside ports for water or an outside shower, be sure to run that antifreeze fluid through those parts of the system, as well as de-winterize those when you're getting ready for your camping season. Once I'm done running the water through the system, what I want to do is open my floor drain. If I'm not going camping for a while, open my floor drain. That's our pump. Open the floor drains over here, the low point drains, and just let any water run out of the system. I don't need to be storing water in the pipes if I'm not exactly ready to go. Another little quick tip I like to do when I'm dumping the water out of my gray-black tank is let it run a little bit, but I don't want all the water to go out. I want a little bit water in there, so when I start putting stuff in the dump tank, that it's not going to stick in there. Just a good practice. It's what I do. You don't have to do it, but that's how I roll. Well, that is it, my friends. I have dewinterized my camper probably in under an hour. I was doing other things while I was doing this. Rinsed out the system, checked for leaks, made sure I took care of my outside water sources like the outdoor shower. And I'm also checking my toilet to see if it's going to hold water. If not, I'm going to have to recondition that seal. So maybe we'll do another post on that if I find that it's not holding water. Hopefully this has been helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe if this has been helpful to you. Thanks a lot. Take care.